Oh, jeez. Painted metal is turning rusty. What the hell? I guess rust coat is not preventing rust for some reason. All right, we'll have to fix that at another time. So, we're gonna put some deck boards up now. Measure between the edges, and we'll see how to attach them. Let's do 90. It's like 90 and an eighth. If we do 90, that'll give us plenty of wiggle room.
Flashback to a few months ago, we started the planning process for the rooftop deck and had some requirements. We wanted it to be sturdy so that it could last a long time. Cedar was our first choice for the deck boards because of the tree's natural ability to resist rot, bugs, and mold while being pretty strong for its lightweight nature. The problem is that cedar is typically pretty expensive. Lucky for us, one of our buddies dropped us a tip that there is a guy who claims old power poles, cuts off the creosote, and mills them to order. We ended up getting our boards from 4 power poles that were originally set in 1964, and the trees were harvested from BC here in Canada. If you're in Ontario and need cedar, check out Cedarwood Custom Milling on Instagram. Now back to installing these boards.
Okay, so we are going to do 1-to-1 boiled linseed oil, 2 turpentine, and I'm going to start with the smallest measurements I can. So we'll mix up 1 liter of this stuff and see how far we get with it. I've used linseed oil in oil paintings and turpentine to clean my brushes when I used to do a lot of oil painting, but I've never used it on wood. So this is a new experience for both of us.
And we've never shishigi bond before either. So,
yeah, so
all of this is new. We'll see how it turns out. And we'll let you know here in just a few minutes.
All right, here we go.
Springtime.
So the one guy we watched on YT University, he heated up his boiled linseed. We just left it out here while we ate lunch. So.
And it looks pretty...
It's pretty liquidy.
Pretty liquidy. He said that the main thing you don't want it to be is too thick. So that looks pretty good. And then now here's the turpentine.
This thing pours super shit. Look at it.
Yeah.
Juking at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's super runny. I don't think we're gonna have problems with it.
No, it's a nice day out too.
Yeah. Like my stir stick?
Yeah, I do. Cool, I think you're good.
Let's give it a rip. Final sliver inspection. All right, here we go, kids.
Whoa.
Hey there. I'm gonna go with the grain of the wood.
Wow, it's soaking it right up.
Beauty, beauty, beauty.
Nice.
I swear I keep hearing a bald eagle. I'll let you know. Keep you posted if I see one.
All right, so I got one hole drilled, and now this is a countersinking bit. We'll see how the countersinking goes. We'll try with and without the countersinking bit and see what it's like. That goes flush real nice. And we got a nylock nut. We're not going to use Loctite on this.
We're not using Loctite on these bolts because if we need to take the the boards off for some kind of reason, which we will leave out because maybe it would be bad luck to talk about it. If we need to take the boards off for some reason, Loctite will make it very challenging to take the boards off. So we're gonna take a risk here.
And the nylock nut will hold it on just fine.
Ready? Wardrobe change.
Wardrobe change, yeah. I put my Sun Pro on.
What was that?
Sorry. Pardon? So there's a bolt here, and I can't access this space here. So I can put a bolt here.
Back at her. There he is. There he is.
Top of the morning to you.
Looking good, eh?
Oh, it's coming
Look
along
at
real
that.
nice, girl. Real nice.
What do you guys think? We're at about a third? Maybe?
Yeah, because this is like a short section here, but then this is a full section, then a long short section, and then just a couple more short sections. Like, I would say we're probably about a third, close to a half done, just because of how much space we've already done compared to the other areas. Probably about a third. Yeah. Looks nice.
Uh-oh. We haven't picked up the camera all day. Sorry, guys. We got in the zone, though. Like, really in the zone. Check this out. Got some nice long ones ready. I gotta put the stuff on them still, but we like to get them measured up. Hey, Brad?
Hey, how's it going?
We're like halfway.
About halfway. Maybe more because of the smaller sections.
All
might
of this
be more-
stuff is short
Yeah.
sections over here. This where Brian's at right now is the hang zone.
It's the longest.
Well, it's actually more like the storage zone since it's so big. No one would ever hang out on a deck. Like, why would you? It's a roof rack. All right, let's go up and see how it looks. It's looking beautiful. Hang zone. I mean, storage zone.
Yeah.
The storage
Jeez.
zone.
Store all sorts of good stuff up here.
So this is going to be like our big section right here. And we'll go right to there. And then the rest of this stuff is all short boards.
You could downward dog right here.
Look at that downward dog.
Yeah. Or downward dog right over there too.
Oh my
Or
gosh.
this way.
Yeah. Living on the edge right there.
Yeah, this way is probably the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see myself shavasanaing.
90 inches. From one side to the other, it's been about 90 to 90 and a quarter, depending on where we're at. 7 foot 6 inches.
Right.
That's what this is. Woo.
That's the best thing ever.
It's solid, isn't it?
Oh my god.
How's it feel?
It feels so safe. Oh my god. I feel a million times more safe up here. Just saying. It's so beautiful. Tell us about this.
All right, so there's all sorts of boards I put down already. They all are kind of similar to put down, but I saved this explanation until I got a few under my belt because originally it was quite difficult. But I figured out some tricks, and that's what I'm going to show you. This particular board here, first off, I start by measuring the distance between the sides, and so it fits nice and snug. This particular spot here has some anchor bolts for the uprights, and that's why I'm going to show you this one, because you're going to get all of the things that I learned all in this one spot. All right, so because those bolts are kind of sticking up, I've got to countersink those, and to figure out where that's going to happen, I'm going to put the board directly on top of it. I'm going to pop it into place, put it in the spacer. Spacer block is just a little piece of plywood with a nail in it. That's just an Ardox nail. So it's about 1/8 of an inch. And that little block prevents it from falling down all the time. So now that's in place. Now I grab another spacer that has a little piece of wood on it. And I know that the bolt is right here. So I want to make an impression there and one over here. All right, so now we'll take the spacers out, pull the board up, and you can see that there's an impression right there now.
That's it. There's the impression.
Now we only have to countersink it like about 1/8 of an inch, maybe 1/4 of an inch at the most. And so to figure out how to countersink it, I measured the diameter and it was 3/4 of an inch. Then I got a countersinking bit, which is this guy right here. And we're just gonna hollow out that spot just a little bit, just so that the board lays flat. I'm gonna put that in the middle. That looks like it'll be good, and we'll do it on the other side also. There we go. And we'll blow that one off too. Now we'll flip the board over.
Oh. Just nestles right in there, huh?
Look at that. Now it's flush with the other board. So I countersunk it enough. So now that that's countersunk, we're going to grab the bigger drill bit and we're going to do the channels first for drilling the holes for the bolts. We're using 3/8 inch stainless steel bolts. And the reason why we're using stainless steel is because with Cedar, if you use a bolt that has iron content in it, it'll react with the cedar and turn it gray around that area. So if you've ever seen a fence that has like these drippy gray lines, That's because the proper hardware wasn't used to fasten the boards to the fence. Same thing happens up here, so we're using stainless steel. All right, so now that we have the holes drilled, I'm gonna pop this up and push in 2 bolts. They're nice and snug, which is perfect. And then I'm gonna take the channel spring nut. So this guy essentially is gonna be screwed onto here, but it goes down into the channel, then it rotates around, and then those little teeth that are on the bottom grip it. So as you tighten it down, it pulls up on the underside of the channel here, which makes it nice and tight bond. So the first time I was trying to just put them in the channel and then get the bolts to line up, that did not work very well because the channel is kind of canted to either side because the roof is kind of curved. And so what I'm doing now is I just thread on a couple threads just to get them onto the bottom of each bolt, and then I line up the channel nuts with the channel this way, and I'll do both sides at the same time. So this one's going to be interesting because we do have to have that countersunk also. So let's get these lined up nice and straight and start to get them to fall into place. And they have to go one after the other.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. So next up, I pre-countersink these. And that just gets that conical bottom to make an impression in the wood, which lowers the channel nut further down in there. All right, so now I've got to get that nut to turn in its little groove. So I found getting a big screwdriver helps, and a hammer, and I just tap it in until it rotates around. And then I do
Especially the back ones, eh?
Yeah, the back one's a lot harder. All right, once they're twisted, then I engage them just a little bit. Just so that they seat inside the track. I'm not tightening them all the way because I've got to still move the board that way, but I got to do that side, and so this has to be further out still. So here's the next one. Oh, that one did really well. That one's already done. Yeah, sometimes they're super easy and sometimes they're cabrons. So that one's sideways now, so now we'll make sure that one's still good. We'll move it a little bit. All right, there we go. So now we'll engage that one by just tightening it a little bit and get that one engaged. There we go. And then we'll drop our spacer there, and we'll drop a spacer on this side over here. Oh, we gotta get that a little closer also. All right, so all of those, that one needs to go just a little bit more. There it goes. All right, so now we just work it. There we go. So ideally you just want the spacer to be nice and snug on the nail. Or at least I do. So now, what's nice also is this, because we pounded the edge here and got the impression and countersunk it, I know that it's in the right spot here because this is flush with the other board.
Now you're just tightening these up?
Yep, I tighten these until they're flush with the top. I want to tighten this one a little bit more.
They feel great under the feet. Like I don't even recognize that I'm standing on them.
And if any are a little bit higher, we can always go and tighten them just a little bit more. I was just trying not to over tighten them, so I'm just trying to go just kind of surface level, because I have cracked a couple boards a little bit by going too much.
Well, they're 100 years old, so.
Yeah.
Or at least 60 something years old.
Yeah. All right, so I just looked down through the channel and I verified that that front one is engaged. And it is, I can feel it tightening down, which is great. There we go. All right, so next I'm gonna secure both ends, and we've got to drill 2 holes into the end and into the angle iron. So now I'm dropping the bolts for the sides. We're using 1/4 20 bolts. And these are also 2 inches long, also stainless steel. It's just a little bit smaller compared to the ones for the middle of the unistrut, because I felt like these would work better for this side. And they were about $1 a bolt cheaper. Seriously, like ridiculous. We're also using nylock nuts on the bottom here so that we don't have to use thread locker, because the nylon insert on the nut takes the place of needing to use thread locker. So now I've got an Allen bit on the impact driver, and then I've got a crescent wrench, a 7/16, and I'm just holding on to that nut on the bottom and drive it in. You don't want to go too crazy with these, just get it till it's nice and flush, and that should do the trick. I gotta reach around this side.
Nice thing is the impact driver like really countersinks it super nice.
Yeah, it does. There we go. So that's good. Now we could pull this spacer out. There we go. And we could do the other side. So we're almost done with one board. So that's how you put on one board, and there's a lot of boards up here, a lot. Like I think we bought a total of 200 channel nuts for these middle ones, and so there's 4 channel nuts, spring channel nuts, 4 big bolts, and then 4 smaller bolts on the edge. For this whole thing. And most decks are like 16-inch on center for the joists. This one is 26 inches and 37 inches. So this has more clear span than a typical deck would. You'd normally have a support every 16 inches, but we have to work with what we have, and this is really, really solid. So, and the boards ended up being 1 1/8 inch thick. So the thicker the board, the more body it has, and it can handle more of that. So if you look around at the rest of the deck, you're gonna see that skylights are coming up through there. There's also like the dome skylight, the square skylights. There's just some creative cuts that we had to make to make sure that the flashing comes out whenever they're opened and closed. So wherever there's a protrusion, basically just measure around there. That's all I did, was measure around there and figure out, okay, well, what does this board need to do? And then just mark up a board, cut it with a jigsaw, cut it with a table saw, circular saw, whatever saw you need to cut it with to make that board fit where you want it to. For smaller boards, like when we start getting over to this section over here, we want at least 2 connection points. So spanning one edge and the unistrut, or just the unistrut. you don't want to only have one connection point because then you're going to be stuck with a teeter-totter. So minimum of 2. For the big boards, 4 is great for something this big, but if you're using thinner deck boards, you're probably going to need more supports than what we have. So time to install more boards.
This may just be my new favorite place on the bus. Hi! We've had a bit of a late start today. It's kind of late in the day, but that's okay. We're gonna work until there's no more sunlight. Time to head up to the roof. There he is.
Hello there, Pokeroo.
Hi! So I think we've made it to day 4 of erecting the deck. Yesterday, we didn't do much filming because honestly, we didn't really install many boards. We might have got 2 or 3 up, which sounds so lame, but we have a good excuse. It was a day of, I would say obstacles, more like figuring. We've got a lot of wood that is cracked because the wood is from 1964 hydro pulse. So the wood's got some history and it's got a lot of character, but to be honest, a lot of the wood had some cracks. So we've been doing some figuring and fixing of the wood to try to find the final pieces that we need. So yesterday was just a day full of measuring and cutting and seeing if the wood that we have would even be suitable for a deck, but we're making it work. And then today I'm going to do a lot of shishuggi bonding, and Brian's just going to be installing. So yesterday was pretty much a prep day, getting prepared for today, and we think that we can finish the deck. So here we go. Stick with us. We're going to have a deck by the end of the day, I think. Fingers crossed.
Next up, we've got some angle iron pieces that are going to go across and connect, and I've got to figure out how to do that. I think I'm going to clamp them in place and then get some holes drilled in them to attach it all. And this will be the side rails for just above each of the skylights. Should be pretty cool. Good morning. It's actually morning. Just finished some coffee and it's time to finish up this deck. Got a little bit of section here in the middle to finish, and then once we're done with that, time to relax. Well, not really. We're under a deadline. Got to be out of here in 24 days, I think. Anyway, end of August. So today we have this last section to go. Last night it was getting super dark out. Ended up finishing the area right around the max air fan, and we've got the next board measured in the pitch blackness of night. That will go right here. So we gotta mount that. We got plenty of tolerance here for the max air fan to operate, And then it's a straightaway after that. Connect to the unistrut, connect to the side angle iron, and then this last part right here, we'll probably get a few little small pieces right there. So let's get to work, y'all.
And there you have it.
I am so happy this part's done. This was a lot of freaking work.
Yeah.
Difficulty score, probably an 8.
Yeah.
It was pretty difficult, especially the calculations. Now, I do want to say that these calculations were so freaking close that we didn't have to rip a single board from end to end and had the calculations for the board spacing of approximately 1/8 of an inch. My mind is blown from that. We had a few, we had a few little hiccups for like spacing. Like this side here was nearly a full board, but we did a little curve-a-rooney to keep it a full board. And this angle iron here is forward about 2 inches compared to that angle iron. So they're kind of offset just a little bit. Parallel, mind you, just offset a little bit.
I don't think that's gonna be a deal.
No, I don't think it's gonna be a deal breaker or anything like that. So
Don't stand on the edges of our deck. Like if you come visit, don't stand on the corners. Alright?
yeah, stay towards the middle. Middle's the safe zone.
Safe sound.
Middle's the safe zone. But I'm excited about how it all turned out. There's some spots where I wish I would have put a curve, like right here. Would have been a nice little curve. But we didn't really need to cut that board because there was already enough room. The
Same
other
with
one,
the dome skylight.
yeah. Oh, the back of the dome skylight, and then the back of this skylight, or the front of that skylight also. So,
Thing.
yeah. But overall,
It's not gonna change.
nah.
Here's the thing. It's not gonna change the enjoyability level of the deck. I mean catwalk. The safety of the catwalk. It's not gonna
enjoying the maintenance.
it's not gonna change how much we enjoy maintaining the deck. Catwalk. It's not gonna change the enjoyment of maintaining the skylights and the solar panels.
Yep.
It won't change it. I've been thinking about that actually a lot lately. I was just buffing out the floor in the kitchen, and I saw this one little gap where you could like see through the wall in between the cabinet or whatever. And I was thinking, like, at the beginning of the build, something like that would have for sure bothered me. But at this point in the build, I'm just like, doesn't even matter.
Just call it art.
It's like, who's gonna be laying on the floor looking at that spot? Like, nobody's gonna be able to see it. It's gonna be behind a couch. Anyways, like, it doesn't change the awesomeness of the inside of the rig, you know?
You got that right.
Yeah, you gotta choose your battles in life. It's not a battle that we're gonna choose. Just enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah, enjoy it. All right.
Do it.
I'm gonna get up on the deck now. Woohoo! I mean,